Hello, Zeb Aurelios from Star Wars Rebels, and you're listening to Inside the Force. Carabas. Gotta go. Hera's here.
It is a period of Star Wars mania. As new movies, comic books, novels, and TV shows populate the system. Fueled by their love and passion for the galaxy far, far away, two exceptional geeks tap into hundreds of holocrons in order to bring you the knowledge and insight of all things Star Wars. Come and join them as they go inside the Force.
And we are back. Dave Cottingham here with Casey Cooley.
Hello, everybody.
And welcome to Inside the Force, back in the home state of Kentucky.
Yeah.
After, 1 week away from Star Wars Celebration.
Yeah.
Where we did our last show at the podcast stage. Mm-hmm. Hopefully you all checked that out with guest Chris Gore for that hour there, Friday evening at 6 o'clock. And again, want to thank all the people that showed up there.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, and all the messages and stuff we got from people that couldn't make it that were rooting for us. So really, really appreciate it. We had a fantastic time doing the show as well as just being there.
It was a lot of fun.
And that's what this episode is really going to be about is everything you didn't get from us there because we were only 2 days in. Mm-hmm. So this episode, we're just going to summarize everything that we experienced at Celebration because there's not really a lot of news and stuff happening in Star Wars world right now because of what happened at Celebration. So we'll dive into all that. But overall, I just want to start off by saying just doing the show there was unbelievable. It's a small room. It's nothing like being in the Star Wars Celebration stage or anything like that, but it's its own room, and it's got and the highlight, to be honest, wasn't necessarily the stage and the hookup and the because we're in the video audio business. We do that for a living, so that whole thing wasn't, and doing our show obviously wasn't the hard part. Yeah. But honestly, the most exciting part really was seeing our name on the billboard. Yeah. Right there in the hallway. 6 to 7 inside the Force. I mean, we took a picture of it and put it out there on social media. Like that was, I didn't expect that.
No, I didn't.
Did you?
No, it was so cool. I didn't even see it until a friend of
and
Chad.
You're the one. Oh, Chad
first pointed it out.
Oh.
I think he did. I think I saw he probably saw it right before I did. But yeah, we were just walking past it and to another panel, and we just saw it, and that was just incredibly surprising and awesome. And
I probably wouldn't have noticed it unless someone else pointed it out. Yeah. But I was stoked to see that. So it's I feel like it's a big step for us. We're trying to obviously get as many people to listen to us and talk to us as much as possible. So that was we try. I guess we tried to get on at Anaheim. Right. Yeah. I think we applied for that too, but didn't get it. So this was, exciting to get on there and get next to, all these other familiar Star Wars podcast shows. Makes you feel a little bit more part of the community. So it's, again, no one could have showed up, which would have been fine. Yeah. But we had some people in there. We gave away some great stuff.
Yes, that was a lot of fun too.
Yeah. Gave away a Thrawn book, some figures, some comics, so it was just overall just an exciting weekend. So let's just dive right into it and take it day by day here. So if you to put on your memory cap, and start thinking about it. But honestly, it for us, because again, this last episode we really just kind of talked about a little bit what was going on there, which was the Star Wars Episode 8 trailer, which we'll talk about, Last Jedi trailer, and some some stuff with with Chris, and we answered a lot of questions that
was
people had, right?
as well, yeah.
So we did. So the show got shaped. It wasn't really.
Yeah.
Our agenda kind of got lost a little bit, but so anyway, that's what we're doing now. So the killer thing. What was so good to me, and honestly, I was just telling Casey before we started recording that I'm trying to write this celebration article on the website that kind of summarizes my feelings about not just this celebration, but all celebrations. And I don't know, for some reason, I'm just having a hard time getting it out, or I feel like I'm talking too much about it.
Yeah.
I'm not getting to the point, I need you to probably edit it for me. But the thing about celebration is not just obviously the new stuff that gets revealed or the, looking back on stuff, because the first few celebrations that I went to, it was more or less just a celebration. Mm-hmm. It was the 30th anniversary of episode 4. Yeah. Now it's the last couple, it's really looking forward to what's coming, because back then there wasn't anything coming.
Right.
It was the Clone Wars, and that was really it. Yeah. Detours at one point, but that never happened.
Yeah.
But people may not even know what Detours is. But now it's like you have episode 8 Han Solo. You have episode 9. We know it's coming. Last season of Rebels, and what's next after that? We got introduced to a new animated series, which we'll talk about. Mm-hmm. So anyway, celebrations are more about what's coming to me. To me, in a way, that's what's coming out. Celebrating, revealing new stuff. Right? It's saving it for celebration, kind of thing. Right? So all that's great and all, but to me, and what it was more evident with this celebration is that it's really all about the people that you're with, and the more people you have coming down there, just the more energy it is, the more exciting it is. We had 7 people drive down to Orlando with us today, right? Or this past week. So I think the most we've ever had at Celebration was 5.
Yeah.
I think one year, me, you, Corey, Chad, and Charles went, right? Mm-hmm. I think that was one year. And then we had your buddy Adam meet us there. So we had 8 in total be there. And it was just phenomenal because it was rarely that we were even together, for one. Yeah. We were always kind of doing our own thing. Yeah. But anyway, but we drove down. We rented a van that had what was it, a 27-inch TV?
About that, yeah. Yep.
So
and
Blu-ray player had nothing but Star Wars playing, obviously. Yeah. And just to let you know, because I think someone put this out there on Facebook, from Lexington, Kentucky to Orlando, Florida, and the convention center, it takes approximately episodes 1, 2, 3, Rogue One, and up until Obi-Wan dies in episode 4.
Yeah.
Is how long it takes to get there.
Much.
That's how that's how far we got with all the movies.
Yeah. I slept through about most of 3/4 of the way through Revenge of the Sith and most of Rogue One. I just passed out.
Yeah, I think you were in the front seat.
I was in the front seat
during Rogue One anyway.
During Rogue One and then A New Hope. Yeah, but
I drove the first leg. We drove all night. That's the thing. So we left at like 7:00 at night. Got there like 6:00 in the morning. So we drove all night, and I drove the first leg. So I didn't see 1 or pretty much all of 2. I pretty much drove like 3 or 4 hours. So I might have saw the tail end of 2, and then I was in and out for 3, in and out for Rogue One, and then watched majority of episode 4 in the morning. So anyway, that's just. But anyway, we started off. What I'm saying is that we started off at having just a really good, engrossing time with Star Wars and with each other. And even though people were in and out of sleep, we just had Star Wars going. It set up the whole weekend. So anyway, we get there early and we immediately get in line for what is everybody knows about the Last Jedi panel on Friday, but the 40th anniversary celebration was the first thing on Thursday. So we get into one of the streaming rooms, the behind the scenes room. They had one room where they had it live, and then they streamed the big events to the other 2 rooms, which was the celebration stage and then the behind the scenes stage. So your feelings, Casey, on the 40th anniversary, the hour and a half that we were in there for that, and what did just overall, what surprised you? What didn't we get that you wanted? I don't know. Was it?
Yeah, I mean, there was so much speculation for the 40th panel. It literally was just a celebration of the 40th anniversary of Star Wars, which was great, which is all you could really want. But, leading into it, we kept thinking like, oh my gosh, this has got to be the time where they maybe announce the next slate of movies or show a little bit of Han Solo or something, because there's nowhere else in the whole schedule they're going to do that. So I was kind of hoping that they would do a little bit of more about showing the movies that are to come. We didn't get that at all, which is fine. And very surprised and very, very excited and happy that Harrison Ford showed up. That was probably just top of my head what I can think of. The biggest thing that jumps out to me is like my favorite part of the whole panel, that Harrison Ford was there. That was freaking awesome. So, it was nice, nostalgic, emotional panel. They did a great spot remembering Carrie Fisher. Her daughter came out, and that was a beautiful moment with that. And I didn't expect there to be as much of a. I mean, I knew they would pay tribute to Carrie Fisher pretty much the whole weekend, but there was a huge chunk of that panel dedicated to her, which is great because they brought out the original cast and they all talked about her there. I thought they were going to kind of save a lot of the big moments for Mark Hamill's thing, but no, this is a chance for everybody to kind of say their not really say their piece, but like say their memories of Carrie Fisher. And then Billie Lourd came out and did her monologue at the end, which was surprising and awesome because she looks and sounds exactly like her.
Yeah.
But no, it was a great panel, and we got great posters from it. Yours is hanging up right there on the wall of Carrie Fisher. Didn't expect that at all. That's something that a lot of fans will cherish for years to come.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was a great treat for anybody who was lucky enough to be there.
Yeah, we obviously both knew and felt that George Lucas was going to be there.
Yeah, I'm glad that was like the first thing that was revealed.
Yeah.
Oh, here's George Lucas. He's going to sit here for the whole time.
And he was there the whole time. Yeah, it's just kind of him reflecting and then bringing out all the main actors from the series, the original trilogy. Billy D. Williams and Peter Mayhew, Anthony Daniels. Harrison Ford was a huge surprise to me. Of course, Mark Hamill's there. He's always at Celebration.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was good. John Williams' part was
I forgot about that. Jeez,
was emotional.
Yeah.
Because that played right after the tribute.
Yeah.
Right. So the Leia Carrie Fisher tribute, they had another. It was and you can see it online. It's like a 3 or 4 minute piece.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
A lot of behind the scenes footage of her.
Mm-hmm.
Very emotional. And as soon as that happened, it went to John Williams, which was a complete shock. I had no idea that was going to happen. And he plays, first he plays the Leia theme, which got me to tears, and then he played just all the Binary Sunset, Imperial March. I mean, he just played them all. So it was just a big reflection, like you said on episode 4. Hayden came out for that, and Ian McDermott, so that's why Hayden was there. I mean, he spent a lot of the weekend there, but that was, they brought him out for that. And on a side note of that, I mean, people were thrilled that he was there. I mean, I think he really. I saw some articles when we got back about people writing about, hey, it's time for Star Wars fans to forgive Hayden Christensen. I'm like, the true of us never had to, apologize for him.
Yeah.
He's part of it. He's always been, and he's, he did great. I thought he was great as Anakin. So, given what he was supposed to do, right? So, but after all that, like you said, her daughter coming out and doing all that. But man, when we walked out, this is the first. This is the out, right? This is like 12:30, the first day. Mm-hmm. We walk out and we get handed this picture of Leia. It says, "May the Force be with you," and they're numbered, and I'm thinking, man, this is probably the best thing I've ever left Celebration with, to be honest.
Yeah.
Again, like you said, I got it hanging on the wall now. It's like, it's so awesome. And people don't know what I'm talking about. It's a little 13 by 19 poster that they handed everybody that was in those 3 rooms. Mm-hmm. And they're numbered. There's 8,000 of them out there. So, pretty phenomenal picture of just the traditional Leia from Episode 4. And it does have a little, like, what is that? Like a glow highlight right at the back of her left ear.
Yeah.
It's like, it's just a phenomenal picture. I love it. So, that was a great kickoff to the weekend. No revealing news, nothing. I mean, it was just about celebrating the 40th anniversary. Mm-hmm. That's all it was. Which actually the 40th anniversary is coming up in May 25th. So anyway, we go, so that really, again, that kicks us off. So right away we know since Thursday, we haven't even checked in our hotel yet at this point. And we know we have to get in line and, about 5 or 6 hours later to get for the Last Jedi panel, which is happening Friday morning. I think right away we start thinking about food. We eat something or whatever. But I think we started scoping it out. Got on the floor. I don't know if there's anything else that afternoon. We didn't go anything else that afternoon. I don't think.
Really. No, not Thursday.
So I know we got something to eat, and we just kind of scoped the floor around a little bit because we had guys that was with us that had never been there before, Cody and Anthony. Mm-hmm. So we did all that, and then we eventually went and checked in our place, got cleaned up, showered up, grabbed some pillows and stuff like that, right? And headed back to the convention to get in line for the Last Jedi panel, which is Friday morning. Now, I will say that everyone obviously had this idea of getting in line because now we were told, or you were...
It was on the website. And on their celebration website that there would be no lines until 8 p.m. If you tried to line up outside, you would be dismissed.
And that didn't happen.
Not at all. Apparently it didn't happen for Last Jedi, not the Last Jedi, the 40th panel either.
Oh, really?
That's what we kind of heard when we...
Yeah, I think they were overnight outside, I think.
Yeah, so that's when we got there, we noticed, we didn't even get there too early. Like, it was pretty early. It was like...
It's like 7 or 7,
7:30, 6:30 or something like that, 7. And expecting to be no lines, and yet there was like a gigantic line of about 1,000 people.
Huge.
Outside the building. Yeah. Wrapping around the building. And so everybody else there were also equally, confused why they are lining up and honoring this line when they said online on the website that there would be no line before 8 o'clock. So they also said, some people that were in line saying that this also happened for the 40th panel where they honored a line before 8 o'clock then, so they're basically just doing it again for the Last Jedi panel. So if we had known that, we probably would have came a little earlier and maybe lined up a little earlier.
Yeah.
But
definitely.
We got in line. We were about 1,100 people into this line, so we were pretty confident that we would get into the live streaming, the live actual stage. Not the streaming stages, but like the live stage. But, through a lot of confusion and some organizational issues, we kind of lost our spot several hundred people back, and we were unable to go to the live stage. We had to go to a streaming stage. But the whole night there was pretty fun. Camping all night there and inside the building, not outside, but inside of it. Played a lot of Star Wars Destiny.
Yes.
Got very little sleep, but it was still a lot of fun.
Yeah, and I'll echo that. I think this was, unfortunately, probably the poorest run celebration, to be honest, that I've been to, as far as the lines go.
Yeah.
the layout of the convention was great and all that. But even and again, I don't want to knock it too much, but even like inside on the floor when there were giveaways or there was just total disruption, there was no organization. I felt like Anaheim a couple years ago was nothing like that. I felt like it was completely smooth and perfect. But yeah, the way we got in line for that, and then the way they funneled us into the security, apparently, I mean, there was like a couple hundred people that kind of ended up around us.
Yeah,
and not just us, but the people with us. It was like this one security line was going faster than the other, so it just kind of passed everybody up, right? So, anyway, so we did, like you said, we didn't get into the live thing, but we got into the panel. We ended up getting, into the celebration stage, which was actually fine with me.
Yeah, it was good
because that used to be the main stage at the other celebrations. Kind of theater seating, great big screen, So we watched the live stream in there, and of course we saw the trailer.
Yes.
So obviously we will talk a lot about the trailer. Episode 8 trailer, Case.
Woo. It's very good tease. I'm not gonna sit here and compare it to the Force Awakens teaser trailer because it's totally different. I feel like, honestly, context, because people online keep saying if it's as good as the Force Awakens or not good enough because it didn't have that same hype or whatever. I'm not gonna go into that, but the trailer in it of itself was awesome. The shots are beautiful. I think it's going to be, Rian Johnson looks like already like he's definitely got his visual mark on this film. To kind of separate it visually from Force Awakens, you can kind of already see some differences in shots that way and how it's composed. Like, Daisy Ridley on the edge of the island with like the ocean beyond her, kind of the shots from behind her back, stuff like that. It's pretty cool. And yet there's still some shots that do connect it to the other movies, which I appreciate. But the trailer, it's just, there's just. It's just a perfect teaser because it shows some amazing visuals and yet it doesn't give any story away. So your speculation just likes to run wild. And since we've saw it, all of us at the office have been talking about it and watching it and just trying to figure out and throw our own spin into it. Like, what could this mean? That kind of stuff. And thankfully, there's been no leaks about it. There's been a lot of rumors, a lot of speculation, but that's kind of the fun of it, is that we know nothing about it, and so we're just trying to fill it in with our own imagination. But the trailer was great. We got to see, kind of all the things I wanted to see, I did see. Saw what Kylo kind of looks like, Luke a little bit, and Rey, Finn, Poe, all those guys. A little bit of Leia as well. Got to see all of them. So there's not more I really could have asked for in a teaser trailer before it gets pushed into like a full trailer. Mm-hmm. But no, I was definitely satisfied.
Yeah. Definitely felt it felt similar to the Force Awakens teaser, which just had, brief shots.
Yeah.
And that one ended with the Falcon kind of flying around, brought you back home kind of thing. I think, this movie has a great mystery of what is happening with Luke Skywalker. Mm-hmm. When you're watching The Force Awakens, and I actually watched The Force Awakens a little bit this morning. There's a sense in there. Everybody's looking for Luke. Leia's looking for Luke because she needs his help. Mm-hmm. Snoke and them are looking for Luke because they want to kill the Last Jedi, right? And it seems like in this, in a way, in episode 8, it seems like Luke just doesn't care about anything. You know what I mean? Like, he is just checked out. And then there was there's a line in episode 7 with Han when he's telling Rey and them, he's like, she says, what happened to him? And he says, a young apprentice turned on him and destroyed it all. And Luke felt responsible, and he walked away from it all. So you can definitely see that responsibility, that burden on his face at the end of 7. And it doesn't seem like it doesn't seem like in a way quickly that this will happen, which is, I'll train Rey, she'll be my new apprentice, and then we'll go back to the Resistance and help save the galaxy.
Yeah.
I mean, according to his line in this, it's like he doesn't even want the Jedi to exist. So therefore, when does he even decide to train her, or is he training her at all? So it's just a huge mystery of what even Luke Skywalker is doing, or what he wants to do, or what he's trying to do. Obviously, he's just been either exiled himself, or he did go looking for the first temple and found it and was just satisfied with just being there, I guess. I don't know, Yeah. So the teaser was, you're right, it did what it's supposed to do, which is just get you excited. But the only thing I wanted, and again, the only thing I did want was some Luke action or something, or doing something. But because of the circumstances, it makes sense. Because again, I don't know what he's doing. So, but very interesting shots in the trailer. Some gorgeous ones, like Leia, or not Leia, but Rey, wielding the lightsaber in that long shot.
I love that shot.
Training. You got a shot of Poe, shot of Finn, like you said. Leia, good shot of her. But yeah, just a lot still going on with that. So, I don't know. I think for some reason I thought I read maybe that there would be a full trailer in just a month or two.
Oh, really?
Was it on? No, what did I see that on? No, maybe not. I thought it said something attached to some movie this summer. When's Spider-Man coming out? That June or July?
Jeez, Louise, I don't know.
Obviously, this trailer will probably be on. It's probably in theaters now, but definitely be on Guardians.
Yeah,
which is next week,
probably.
Which is May the 4th.
Jeez, forget.
Yeah. So anyway, any more on that?
Just the whole trailer at all? My goodness.
I don't know what more we can.
I mean, we could speculate forever on like what the Last Jedi mean, like the Jedi to end means and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, it's interesting because in the Last Jedi panel we were kind of introduced. I also thought in that panel we would get Benicio del Toro would come out, Laura Dern would come out.
Yeah,
because I thought this is where they're going to announce at least their character names, and kind of talk about the different planets, that kind of stuff. If we'll see any different planets, we did see a new planet in this trailer, and after Celebration,
and they introduced one new character.
They did, but not in the trailer. But they announced her, at the panel, and her name is Rose. The character name is Rose, and also unsure of what she's going to do. She's like a technician, mechanic of some sort for the Resistance, and it sounds like her story is going to be heavily synced with Finn's story.
Yeah, it almost feels like the next kind of Lando character.
Could be, yeah.
There
might be a love interest for Finn.
Possibly, yeah.
And then the new planet in the trailer, it's that white, kind of desolate looking, almost like a desert, honestly, planet with new AT-ATs. Who knows what they'll be called, but the new AT-AT looking machines and those cool looking ships that kind of fall and scrape against the surface of that planet, kicking up that red dust. That planet is called Crate, not Crate Dragon. We actually announced that, I think, on our last show. So we did hear that during Celebration. So anyways,
we did.
I mean, yeah, there's so many cool shots that I don't even know how to speculate what's going on. Like, there's a good shot of Rey running with the lightsaber. Like, where is she? What is she doing there? You have Kylo, the one shot of Kylo where he's got the lightsaber close up to his face. You see a hint of his scar on his face, so he must have spent some good time in a bacta tank to heal that much of a gashed wound on his face,
I guess.
And did you read that Ryan Johnson moved his scar on his face? You notice that? In the shot in Last Jedi, the scar is going over his eye. But in Force Awakens, the scar was over the bridge of his nose and past his cheek.
Oh.
So Ryan Johnson made a decision to move that scar to basically retconned it to happen over his eye because he thought it was goofy that it was over his nose.
What?
Yeah, so
I didn't know that.
There's already a contradiction in canon a little bit.
Weird.
Yeah.
I did not. When did he say that?
This is a tweet. He
Oh.
tweeted earlier or last week. He tweeted that
Huh.
because people noticed that his scar was in a different place than what it should be from Force Awakens. So there's that.
Wow. Pablo, why did you let this happen?
I know. That's okay. But the trailer's great. I don't know what else to talk about besides. We can go into figure out why he says the Jedi should end, but you kind of already said that there. You know, he's like a checked out Luke. He's very dispirited. You know.
Yeah, if you think about it, I think it's I think it's one of them stories where it's, you know, with everything he knows now, and he may know more because of it looks like there's a bunch of journals there, and I'm guessing he still talks to Force ghosts, right? Still talks to Obi-Wan,
so? Yeah,
and maybe even Anakin. So I think he can. I think he's got the history of what has happened to the Jedi, you know, through how this all went bad back in, you know, episodes 1, 2, and 3 and the Clone Wars. And then, of course, what he went through and restarting the Jedi and being and going through all that failure and losing a student, his nephew. I don't know. I think he's just like, I think he feels like the Jedi cannot be. I mean, maybe he feels like they're the problem. They're the reason why there's evil in the universe. I don't know, you know, and I think it's a redemption feeling for him through this episode, to get convinced and to get shown why he needs to help and why he needs to be, why he needs to train Rey.
Yeah.
So I feel like that is kind of in the beginning of the movie, you know, where he's like, you know, I can't train you. And the thing about it is being in that cave, it's like, I don't think he's talking to Rey. I almost feel like he's talking to like Obi-Wan or something like that. Like someone's telling him you need to train her. And he's like, no, it's time for the Jedi to end, which technically it's been ended, right? I mean, there hasn't been a Jedi around except him for years now. Whatever. What did we say it happened like 5-6 years?
I think so, about 5 or 6 years.
When Kylo turned on him.
No, it's interesting. You really got to. There weren't very many lines in this trailer, but you kind of do need to dissect it. And who knows if it was edited, you know, to happen to be said as they were said in the trailer. They could be taken completely out of context from each other. But when, you know, Rey says that she sees light, darkness, the balance, Luke responds, "It's so much bigger."
Yeah.
Before he says, you know, only know one truth. You know, time for the Jedi to end. It's like, you know, almost he's been studying these books, his little bookshelf that he has in his little cave with those like 6 or 7 books. If those are like the original writings of the Jedi or whatever, and like the ideals in the path of the Jedi from the Old Republic were completely different for how they are in current times. And so you know, the Jedi, the order of the Jedi is so much bigger than just keeping the balance. You know, it's more. So maybe he has attained that state of enlightenment where he is just beyond even identifying himself as a Jedi or identifying it as light side, dark side, like almost like a Bendu type character. I don't know, where he is just kind of very. I don't want to say gray Jedi because apparently that's a thing people are talking about.
It is a thing.
It's not. I don't think it's a real thing.
It's not a real thing.
If it was a real thing, maybe Luke could be in this state of a gray Jedi. But I'm not saying that he is. And Pablo wouldn't either.
Yeah, I don't think I would be okay with that. because the Gray Jedi thing. I mean, I think it's.
I don't even know about that stuff. I mean, it's whatever. I mean,
well, for those who don't know, the Gray Jedi are the ones that are kind of like they're back and forth, right, between the light side and the dark side.
You're neutral.
They're neutral in a sense,
but you're the Jedi or you're not Jedi.
Correct. You're either a good guy or not a good guy.
Like Ahsoka is not a Jedi.
No.
Pablo made this very clear. People like asking, "Oh, is she a Gray Jedi?" No, she's just not a Jedi.
She is not a Jedi.
Well, then what do you call her? Call her Ahsoka.
Yeah.
She's not.
She's a person.
Yeah. That's it. So Luke could very well be in this state of he's just a Force user. He studies the Force as it should be. You know, it just kind of sort of aligns itself to the benefit of the galaxy. It's not necessarily keeping a balance between light and dark. However, he's not a bad guy. He's not doing evil things.
Well, I don't think he's not doing anything.
No, exactly.
Right. So, I mean, I almost feel like he could feel like that using the Force either way is not good.
Possibly.
You know what I mean? So it's like,
I think that's kind of what I've been wanting for a while now are Star Wars stories to really dive in deep into the whole idea of a balance.
Yeah.
And that's why I was kind of leaning towards this whole rumor of Rey being the resurrected chosen one and whatever, just because I wanted to know more about this idea of a chosen one, this idea of the balance and what it actually means, because we still don't know. Like Clone Wars talked about it, with Anakin, with the Ghost of Mortis, and more about the Force with Yoda doing his trial with Qui-Gon Jinn and Lost Missions episodes. But still, like there's still so many questions about the balance in the Jedi, exactly what it means to have the Force to be in balance. So, there's the shot in the Last Jedi trailer where when Rey mentions the balance, it shows the shot of the book with the Jedi symbol there, and a gloved hand, which I guess is Luke, kind of touching the pages there and stroking the Jedi symbol, and some writing on there as well. Maybe that book is laying out the Chosen One prophecy. Maybe that's where it's originally written in that book, or it's originally written what the balance means, or the original ideas of the Jedi, and that's kind of what Luke has been studying and learning from. So, I'm very excited to see what that entails, and if there's anything more to that, which I definitely believe that there is. But no, it's so now there's just nothing to go off.
But here's the biggest question I have.
Okay,
is. Are we ever going to see truly what Episode 6 promised, which was the return of the Jedi? Mm-hmm. Are we ever going to see the return of the Jedi? Because this whole notion of, again, I'm reading it obviously from just a teaser, but this whole notion of Luke tried to train a new generation of Jedi, failed because of his nephew turned on him somehow, either obviously seduced by Snoke or something. And he turned away and went looking for the first Jedi temple and found it, apparently, but has done nothing to be found. Now, then again, there's another question too in Episode 7 is who did the map? Who left the map?
Yeah.
Did Luke leave the map to find me if you need help? Because apparently he's not into that.
Yeah.
Was it,
R2 has something to do with it?
Well, R2 had the map from the Empire, right?
Yeah.
When he got into the computers, that's how he downloaded the maps. Yeah. The missing part was obviously with Laura Vance. What's his name? Laura Santeca. So maybe that group somehow found out where Luke was and put it on this, map. And but how did they find out? Did Luke tell him, or did he? I don't know. So there's that question. I don't even know if that'll ever be answered, to be honest. But the thing is that there was a period prior to Episode 1 for apparently 1,000 years, right? 1,000 years when the Sith were thought to be destroyed, and the only surviving Sith was Darth Bane, which is canon. He starts the rule of two, and for 1,000 years it was the rule of two. Now, if you think about it, because we don't know obviously the stories, but no one put any that we know of. Again, no one put the galaxy in jeopardy until Sidious, Palpatine.
Yeah.
Right? No one even knew about him. Like, Ki-Adi-Mundi says, the Sith have been extinct for a millennia. So it's safe to say in 1,000 years, they didn't even see any Sith. No one did. There was no recording, 400 years ago. It was like, oh, there was one sighting.
Yeah.
Because they said for a millennia, they didn't see him, right?
Yeah.
So in that 1,000 years, while the Sith was somehow plotting, and who knows how long Plagueis was alive, or how long his master, how many were between Bane and Sidious. In that 1,000 years, you got to think that the galaxy was working, right? Was at peace. There was a government.
Yeah.
There was chancellors and senators that were helping. The Jedi, which numbered in thousands at the time, were keeping peace throughout the galaxy. So it's like, it worked. I mean, it's safe to say if Bane would have gotten killed, there would have never been a Sith, right?
Yeah.
So it worked. The Jedi being around worked. So, this whole thing that Luke obviously was unsuccessful in his first attempt of training or whatever, but, I don't know. It just, I would like to see the Jedi return to that. You can get there because if you think about it, the only reason, seriously, the only reason all of these movies are happening is because one Sith got the better of the entire galaxy.
Yeah.
Sidious somehow, Palpatine, just corrupted not only the Jedi, but obviously he corrupted the entire Senate and government to make him think that they needed him, right, on both sides, right? So, that action in episode 1, all this is the result of it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the First Order came from him, in a sense, right? I mean, the Empire, the First Order.
I know it's.
So I'm just wondering, because Return of the Jedi in episode 6, like that has not happened yet. It did, I guess, briefly, maybe
A Jedi returned. You can, not.
And then he trained
plural.
How many did he?
Who knows? Yeah.
Right.
No, that's such a good point. Yeah, it's all because of Emperor. Because so many people talk.
The Jedi are not the Jedi. The Jedi got beaten.
Yeah.
They didn't destroy themselves.
Yeah.
They didn't betray the government. They didn't. You know what I mean? It's like they. But now here's the thing: a lot of people in the galaxy think they did. Right.
Yeah.
I mean, they were branded as traitors. So, but I think that wasn't a problem once the New Republic came about. I think, that's funny because that's the strange thing. We're in Aftermath, right? I'm in book 2, which I'm at a really good part where they found Han. I don't want to reveal too much, but they found Han and it felt like the story was really kicking in and it's really getting good. But anyway, but even in the first book, in this book, and I'm assuming with Empire's End, the next book, there's no mention of the Jedi coming back.
No.
It's like Luke's around, but no one knows.
Yeah,
at that point, no one knows where he is either.
Exactly. He's doing his own thing.
I mean, I guess I'm that's what I'm wondering too, is there was never even, I don't know if there was even an attempt to say, okay, let's get the Jedi back into the good graces of the Republic. To be the guardians, to keep the peace, because they are talking about, at least right now, they're kind of talking about military, like when they need to build up a military, because the Empire is still kind of strong. They're the only ones with really the capital ships and all this stuff. Anyway, so I don't know. There's just a lot of questions. There are a lot of questions. But I'm just wondering if. I guess I'm just wondering, after 8, after 9, are we ever going to see more Jedi again in the galaxy?
I think, for the sake of the future of the Star Wars franchise, the Jedi have to come back because that's part of it. But
that's like the main thing.
I mean, for story-wise, I'm such an optimist when it comes to stories, but I think that the Jedi will come back. I think we'll see. I mean, in 8 and 9, no, I don't think we'll see like a new Jedi Order or anything like that, but it will be decided, I think, by the end of this trilogy, like it will be decided that they're going to pursue bringing them back.
Mm-hmm.
But again, it's just like, what's that going to mean for the balance? Because you actually made me think, too, when you were talking about episode 1, or even like the 1,000 Years of No Sith, was that technically balanced then, since the Sith weren't actively trying to do anything? Like, they weren't actively causing disrupt in the galaxy, so therefore the balance of the Force was leveled. It was balanced.
I think there has to be a more clear definition of what the balance even means.
Because for 1,000 years there were 2 Sith and there were thousands of Jedi.
Yes,
that seems to be imbalanced if you're talking like numbers like that. However, the Jedi were peacekeepers. You know, the Sith weren't doing anything, so nothing was causing problems. So there was no imbalance in terms of conflict. Everything was at peace, even though the numbers were off balance. So maybe it's something to do with.
Well, I don't know if it's
turmoil. I don't know.
Well, I don't know if it's See, I definitely am starting to think it's nothing to do with numbers, more or less just the power.
Yeah,
like the power of those 2 Sith.
Yeah.
May be as strong as the power of the thousands of Jedi,
obviously,
right?
we saw that because Palpatine, as you said, corrupted everything
without even being sensed.
Yeah, I mean, people keep dogging it on episode 1 for saying it has no plot. You know, it has nothing to do with the story. The story was like it's, we just watched it on the van on the way there, I'm thinking this is it. I mean, I didn't fully understand it when I was a kid because it was very political, but now that I'm older, I can watch it from a story standpoint. Like, okay, this whole Trade Federation, blockade, taxes, and all this stuff that seems very insignificant, completely put into light that the Senate might be corrupt, and that there's some turmoil in the Senate, and there's some darkness kind of weaving its way in. But that whole Trade Federation blockade stuff was started because of Palpatine. Palpatine kind of pushed the Viceroy and those guys into doing this and planting those seeds of the Chancellor's incorrupt. Palpatine's whispering to Padme, like, you need to do the vote of no confidence.
Yes.
She did that, causing a new election, causing Palpatine to become Chancellor. So episode 1 is hugely important.
Oh gosh, yeah,
because
it's the beginning.
Yeah, you see Palpatine planting those seeds of turmoil in the galaxy, not just in the political side of things, but in the military side of things.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
yeah.
So it's hugely important.
Very. Oh yeah. I mean, it's the beginning of the end for the Jedi at that point.
So the imbalance, I guess you can say, starts in episode 1.
Yeah, I just do. I mean, we don't have to go too much into this as far as this next question, but I mean, did Lucasfilm miss? Did they miss the mark a little bit by not having a fully run Jedi, a Jedi system by episode 7? You know what I mean? Like this whole, I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like it's like, man, 30 years, and I think we even mentioned this during episode 7, like 30 years, and we're not. There's still the same fighting going on, really, right? The Republic, against the First Order, and
no, we definitely need more stories. I mean, Bloodline, the start of Bloodline, the book, seemed to be the New Republic kind of at its height a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, there was some seeds of corruption being planted in that, definitely.
But that outlined 2 separate groups almost of senators.
Yeah, there was
what I mean? It's like
bipartisan system, absolutely. But like,
they never mentioned that before, though. You know what I mean? No. Like that. Maybe there was that still back in the pre-Clone Wars. I don't know.
Yeah, but like Luke at that point should have had his new order. That's before Kylo wiped them out. So
correct.
But and it talks about how Luke is off training with Kylo Ben Solo at the time. But we need some other stories around that same time from Luke's perspective. Like we'll get all these stories eventually, but we need more stories where it's about Luke's journey, because at some point, he does bring back the Jedi to a degree before they're killed off again. So, to what degree, I don't know. You know, were they all fully trained Jedi using lightsabers?
How many were there?
You know, there was a temple. You know, I mean, I think we saw another shot of that temple burning in.
That's like
in
the
Last
reverse
Jedi.
shot of the other shot.
So it's. Yeah, so that makes me think those two shots from Force Awakens and from Last Jedi trailer of Luke and with the burning temple, and even the Knights of Ren shot in Force Awakens, the Force back, where I'm pretty sure you see the temple in the background if it's stormy, like that. If it should be, you see Jedi all around them, you know, supposedly dead Jedi. So it seems like at that point there was a new Jedi Order. So I don't know.
But it doesn't feel like they were part of the Republic.
No, they weren't. That's kind of that's what the point I was going to make is that bloodline. It doesn't. There's no Jedi. You know, keeping.
No one knows where Luke is. No one knows what he's doing.
So it's like he was still just trying to train them, I guess. You know, maybe
get them ready.
Maybe that's the amount of time because that's about 15.
That was like 25
years after, right? So. I mean, maybe Luke needed that amount of time for the new Jedi generation to grow up. I don't know. You know,
if he started just grabbing younglings, then, you know, sure.
I don't know. I mean, we just need more of those stories.
We do. Yeah, because, I mean, that's a daunting task. I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no other... If he is the last Jedi, I mean, you know, ever since Yoda left and told him that, you know, it's like the last of the Jedi, will you be? Pass on what you've learned. And he was trying, but... And I get it. I get that it would take some time, but you know, I mean, I know it's not canon, but in the expanded universe, he got one going, right? He got a whole
it was
Jedi Academy going,
very much involved with the galaxy,
right? So that's what I think. I don't know, a lot of people would have loved to see that. I hopefully we will see that. You know, I don't. You know, it depends on how much Luke survives, I guess. Yeah. But anyway, so a lot of speculation on episode 8. We'll be talking about that the rest of the year, obviously, leading up to it. So as we move on and kind of get through the other quick reveals of the weekend, the next big reveal came the next day. You know, we're kind of hitting the big panels. On Saturday morning, they did the Rebels panel. And it was announced that something we had speculated, which was that this upcoming 4th season is the final season for Star Wars Rebels. So Filoni will be able to finish a series. He mentioned that. So they obviously revealed a brand new season 4 trailer, which had Hera kind of voicing over and some really great shots. We get a shot of Yavin. We get a shot of some X-Wings. I mean, it really is getting close to Rogue One. Now, I did read an interview today. I don't know if you read this. Filoni being asked about whether or not we'll see Rogue One perspective in Rebels, and he basically said no. He basically said, you know, it'd be cool to do, but that's Jin's story. You know, this is Ezra's story, and he said Ezra's story.
Oh, man.
So, which was a little surprising for me, to be honest, because I feel like this past season, especially, you know, there's obviously been a little bit with Ezra, not a little bit, but I know he's in it a lot. But the main focus was with Maul and with But I really did feel like in this season, like it was Hera, like it was really her taking control, and you know she's a captain and she's the leader of this sector of the rebels. I don't know. I just felt like she was, and then she's the one mentioned in Rogue One.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's like, I almost started feeling like Hera is like the leader of this series, you know, but the story ultimately is still apparently Ezra's. And there's going to be a lot. I think that's obviously what we're going to see a lot of this season. is how we solve the mystery of Ezra and Kanan and why they're not around.
I just feel like our minds are going to be blown. That it's some different result that we never even thought of. I don't know. Like I can't. I don't know. I'm very anxious for this season to happen and to the end of this season because I just want to know what happens.
Yeah, I do think though that based on those answers, like I really start. You know, I don't know. It's funny how whenever something comes out or whenever something comes up, we tend to and we do it as bad as anybody, obviously, but. We tend to try to see the connections, you know, like, oh, that's got to be, you know, is Ezra Snoke?
Yeah.
Or, you know, is Kanan Snoke? Or is it? But you know, again, thinking of those answers, it's like, it almost seems like they're not trying to connect things. There's obviously references and it happens in the same universe, but they're really trying, and I'm talking about the story group mainly, they're really trying to keep stories, at least the main stories, kind of their own separate story. You know, like, again, Rogue One, they mentioned Hera. You saw shots of the Ghost, but saw a shot of Chopper, but it's like, that's it. They're not going to try to take away from Jin's story by bringing in these other characters that are part of another story, right? Yeah. So it's like, so it's very interesting to see and to hear him say that. Like, that's Jin's story. This is Ezra's story. We're not going to cross, you know, it'd be cool, but it's not part of what storytelling is about, right? So it's almost like we're trying to connect, like, so who is that in episode 8? You know, it's like,
is Callus actually Crix Maydeen, or is he Draven, or you know?
I think that got mixed too.
I mean, he looks exactly a lot like him.
Totally. Like, see, I did this. That's a clear example of it because I saw that. I was like, holy cow, that's the guy from episode 7. Yeah. And I can't remember what his name is.
The Rogue One guy.
The Rogue One guy.
That general. Draven?
Yes, Draven, I think you're right. I think Draven. I mean, it looks exactly what Callus is looking like in season 4.
But a lot of people, too, are like wanting to say, Maydeen, which he does look like General Maydeen.
From episode 6? Yeah, with the beard.
He's got the beard, he's got the bowl cut hair, all kind of stuff. But
it's not. It's not.
Callus, who knows what's going to happen to Callus?
Exactly.
He could probably survive, I'm sure, but just kind of, I don't know, do his own thing. Who knows?
Yeah. So anyway, you know, obviously they get to Yavin, it seems like, but it's gonna be something to figure out how to see how they figure out how to work out Kanan and Ezra out of the Rebel Alliance. And I don't know.
They're either dead or thought to be dead, or just not Jedi anymore somehow.
I think they gotta die. I think they gotta die.
Seems like it, man.
You know, and I think Sabine may end up back with the Mandalorians.
Yeah, I'm sure she'll go back, and Zeb might just.
But I think Zeb's still there. I think Zeb is still there with Hera somehow. Yeah.
Zeb, Hera, Chopper, and AP5 and the Ghost.
Yeah, that's funny. So we got that, and then I think the only real other reveals, we went to the panel for the books and the comics, and the books, there were really focused on Phasma.
Yeah, and they kind of announced the Journey to the Last Jedi series. There's Leia stories, there's more Luke stories coming down the pike, and Phasma comic and a Phasma novel. And I mean, there's a lot of that stuff coming out.
You got a new Darth Vader series coming from Charles Soule, which is one of my favorite writers. Like you said, Phasma series. They're still continuing with Poe and with Star Wars.
It's going to be, I mean, the animated series, the Forces of Destiny thing that, if you read it online, I read it from our website. They're doing books of that as well. Battlefront 2 is getting a book as well.
That's right. Oh, Inferno Squad.
Inferno Squad is coming out as
that was huge. Connection reveal. We got the Battlefront 2 trailer and revealed that it comes out in November of this year. First person campaign, which is a canon story of Inferno Squad. So this is where the book announced from Christy Golden coming out this summer was Inferno Squad. Now there was no cover. It was just a regular cover, and they didn't reveal it obviously till this celebration. But the celebration cover it's called Battlefront 2 Inferno Squad is what the book is called. So just like Battlefront Twilight Company, which ties in, I guess. I mean, I don't know. That doesn't really tie into the game, really, because there's no.
Well, what's interesting is the Battlefront book does not tie into the game much at all. Battlefront 2 will tie into the game. It's a
prequel to the game, I think, the game campaign.
Yeah.
Following this lead character, the female, I can't remember her name now.
Iden Vizio. I'm trying to find it, but based off memory, it's like Iden Verso.
And so she's the leader of Inferno Squad, and the trailer's phenomenal because it witnesses the destruction of the second Death Star and how they're fighting back a little bit. So technically, that if the campaign looks like what it does, it takes place roughly the same time as Aftermath. Shortly after Episode 6.
Battlefront 2, Battlefront 2 is between 4 and 5.
Battlefront 2?
That's what's weird, because there was that Inferno Squad book that was released before, and it had the logo of the Imperial logo on the front.
Yeah, so you're talking about the book.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, the book does.
Yeah,
I'm talking the game.
Game, yeah, it takes place. It's like 30-year span almost. It's like between after 6 to.
Yeah, I guess.
To Last Jedi.
Yeah, I guess. The book is after because the destruction of the first Death Star, the Palpatine orders a special unit, which is Inferno Squad.
Yeah.
So that happened, and then they're on Endor when the second Death Star gets destroyed, and that's the game.
That's when the game starts. Yeah.
So again, kind of like Twilight Company, that's what the book is. The Inferno Squad is that book. It's tied to Battlefront. So that was a great reveal. I thought the trailer was phenomenal, and I love the fact that we're getting a canon story in a video game like that. Gosh, I can't wait. And then, of course, if you pre-order, they said that you can get characters from The Last Jedi as far as the expansion pack. I forget I wanted to mention this real quick because you mentioned it in the beginning of this show. The crate, the planet.
Yeah.
I read today that leading up, I don't know when, but leading up to episode 8, they're adding crate to Star Tours.
Oh, wow.
At Disney. Cool. So I'm going in October again. I'm hoping it's then there then. Cool. I don't know, but Crate is going to be one of the other locations they add to Star Tours. Let's see what else. I guess you want to talk about the Forces of Destiny a little bit. I guess.
Oh yeah, we can touch on it. Yeah, I wrote an article on it on our website because that was announced right before Celebration. It was like midnight last Thursday, the Thursday of Celebration.
It was as we were going down.
As we were going down, but I was asleep. I was in the car awake, and my phone buzzed, and I saw the article, so I read the article really quick and wrote my own while we were in line for the 40th panel at Celebration. But yeah, it's just really quick. It's a series of shorts, 3-minute shorts, 2D animation featuring a lot of the female characters, heroes from the Star Wars saga, all the sagas, and some of these characters will cross paths. Like Hera is going to cross paths with Leia on Endor from Episode 6. We'll see Padme, we'll see Ahsoka, we'll see Jyn Erso, Maz will have a story. And most of those characters, except for Padme, will be voiced by the actresses who played them in the films. And of course, Princess Leia will be who's doing Princess Leia? I forgot who's doing the voice of Leia for the cartoons. But the stories are going to be very, since they're 3 minutes, very small moments. They won't have any big lasting thing. But one of the stories like with Rey, she's going to be on like one story with her is on Jakku with her and BB-8 fighting Tito, the junker guy, one of the salvagers on Jakku, and also there's another story with her on the Millennium Falcon with the rest of the guys on the Falcon trying to remove some like security measures on the Falcon that's like destroying the ship or something like that. So a lot of cool little stories like that. They revealed one at Celebration during one of the panels. I don't know which one it was, but it looks pretty cool. I mean, they're kind of making this a whole new, taking the same characters, some of the same stuff, and repackaging it for a younger female audience. So I'm sure I will enjoy it because it's more Star Wars. So why wouldn't I watch it? And they're doing a whole new toy line, a new book line based off this whole Forces of Destiny franchise. So looks really cool. Excited to see it. There'll be a few released this summer on YouTube, and then the rest will be packaged as TV specials in the fall on the Disney Channel.
So not an actual. It doesn't seem like an actual like ongoing series.
I don't think so.
So it makes you wonder what's Filoni been working on besides that.
I'm sure he's doing his third animated
because it's
series.
because he's been done with season 4 for a while.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, season 4 is done, right? I mean, they're usually a year ahead, so he'd be like in the middle of season 5 right now. Mm-hmm. But obviously, there's not a season 5, so there's that. But that's 2D, so it seems like he's. I mean, I'm sure he's supervising it, but he's not. Mm-hmm. So a little surprised or disappointed, maybe, I don't know, that we didn't get an announcement for the next animated series.
Yeah.
I wanted to think back because it's been now 4 years, I guess, right? Do you remember how we got told about Rebels?
It wasn't at a Celebration, I don't think. It was just online. I'm pretty sure it was just like an article or something like that released. Because I feel like we first heard... I remember hearing rumors of the show. Then all of a sudden we got like a picture of like the cast in the cockpit of the Ghost, I think.
So let me think back here. This is season 4. So season 4 is 17, 18.
We'll have to go back on our episodes, our own show to figure out.
So 17, 18, 16, 17, 15, 16. So 2014, fall 2014 is when it debuted. Mm-hmm. So that was prior to Celebration Anaheim. Yeah, the previous Celebration was maybe Germany, but I can't remember what year Germany was. But the one in this last one in the States was 2012.
Yeah,
which was prior which was before the sale.
We knew about it when we interviewed Tom Kane the first time.
That it was coming.
Because we asked him if he was going to be in it.
Yes.
If he was going to be Yoda or something like that. And
I guess it was just online. Mm-hmm. Maybe it wasn't announced at Celebration Europe.
No, maybe, yeah. I don't know.
I don't know either. Anyway, I'll have to look, like you said, I have to look back at the episodes to see, but I'm just wondering how, now there isn't a Celebration coming, how will we be announced?
I think it'll be a Star Wars show, probably.
Probably, yeah, true. I just want more. I know. I guess there's no. I guess the live action stuff isn't really happening.
Not like for a while, I guess. Jeez.
All right, so overall, let's just talk about. I mean, this is laid out there again. We've done it before, but what was your overall take from Celebration, and I guess just answer this if you can, in case like what does, and we've done it before, but I mean a little bit more. What is Celebration? Not just to you really, but what is Celebration? You feel like what does it do to the Star Wars community?
That's a good question.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I like to think that the Celebration definitely unites us fans, and the ones that are already fans kind of reminds us why we loved it, why we currently love it, and at least at this point in the Star Wars world, it helps feed our love for Star Wars for the things to come. Like you said before, older celebrations, we didn't really have that. We were excited for video games like Force Unleashed. We were excited for Clone Wars when it was around. And, books really weren't too exciting at the time to be looking forward to, at least not like they are now. So now, Celebration, this one, has been my favorite by far. I'm sure you would agree, and all other fans would agree, because, yes, it still reminds me why I loved it, and it gives me those feelings, when I'm loving it currently, like, makes me feel like a kid again, of course, all that stuff. It just kind of feeds the imaginative, adventurous side that I have a little bit about myself. So it kind of, the adventure of Star Wars kind of makes me live out my dreams in a way. So through all the stories, all the games, all the movies and TV shows. But also, this is my favorite one because now there's a variety of elements of Star Wars to be excited about. So now I am super excited about the TV shows that are coming out. I'm very excited about the books and the comics and video games and movies, of course. So there's so many different mediums to get excited about in Star Wars now, and that's why that's just another reason why I love it. Because before, I loved it because it was Star Wars. I had some things to fall in love with, like the movies that we can keep watching over and over again. There's TV shows that we can keep watching to get excited about. But now, the fuel is growing and the love is growing because there's so much more to love about it, and so the Celebration is feeding that for fans like us that have already very well established. But Celebration is also feeding that to newer, younger fans like Cody and Anthony, who they are huge fans. Cody's a huge fan of Star Wars. Anthony's also a big fan of Star Wars, not as into all these little parts like we are, but Celebration fueled that for them. Like, we saw it in their eyes, that they were just walking through all the panels, walking through the floor. When they first got onto the show floor, and saw everything, like, Anthony was just in awe of everything, of course, because it was the best thing he's ever seen for Star Wars and for conventions. So, I kind of saw firsthand from an outside perspective, Celebration making fans, creating stronger, better Star Wars fans just by simply being there. So, like, I guarantee Cody and Anthony are, I feel like their love for Star Wars has grown because of being in Celebration. Yeah. So Celebration definitely unites the young and the old fans together and creates new fans because of it. And it just at this point now, it definitely stimulates the Star Wars world and definitely expands the Star Wars world because there's just so much more to love about it. And Celebration is the mecca of it all. To learn about it and to celebrate it and to explore new areas of Star Wars you haven't even explored before. Mm-hmm. That's a long-winded answer, but that's kind of all my thoughts about it.
No, it's definitely evolved over the years. Like I said in the beginning, it's definitely changed from just being a place to celebrate Star Wars to a place to reveal Star Wars, what's coming and what we're celebrating towards. And I definitely feel like it's a needed place for us fans to get together, and because it really is truly a place where you're really, I hate to say it, but you check out from the rest of the world and you kind of just you're doing nothing but Star Wars. And there's no time to really think there. You're just you're going so many different directions and seeing all kinds of new stuff, and it's almost, you get back and it's like, oh gosh, back to life, because you're away for 3 or 4 days, and I don't know. It's a great. I don't know. It's until you go to it, there's still so many people that haven't gone to Celebration. Until you go to it, it's hard to describe this feeling you get when you're there, surrounded by all these different people that just are so passionate about what you are passionate about. And I mean, if I can help it, I won't miss one, man. It's so awesome to be there. Even the camping out part, it's like, God, it's so tough, but it's like you're with everyone there.
And there's families, there's a mother and there's little children, there's fathers, that do the same thing. So it's like,
it's awesome.
Got to say something about,
the
legitimacy of why we do this stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's so incredible. What Star Wars, what Lucasfilm, what George has done to change the culture of I don't know. I don't even know what it is anymore. It's you know what I mean? It's not, I don't know. It definitely is a community and it's a family. But it's bigger than just movies and TV. It's bigger than just cinema. It's dare I say, almost like way of life, or
it's a culture. I mean, that's kind of what it means. And it's there's a culture of Star Wars, or an identity of Star Wars that people adhere themselves to. So it's you're definitely right about that.
All right, Celebration concludes.
Yep.
We will be back next week, of course, with all the latest news and opinions that come out. Again, thank you for everybody that supported us down there at Star Wars Celebration, and continue to follow us. We've got our brand new website, InsideTheForce.com, with a lot more articles and news that Casey's been posting a lot of. I'm going to be doing some stuff too on there. So go there. You can actually subscribe right there to that site as far as RSS feed goes. But of course, we're always on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, TuneIn Radio, and Google Play. So go look us up on there if you want to subscribe on there. All the episodes are actually not all the episodes are up on the site yet, but we're close.
40 left.
To put on there. We're almost there. But of course, get on the feed. They're all there on the feed. All right, at Inside the Force on all social, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. YouTube, subscribe there as well, as we try to build up some video on there. Still talking about exactly what we're going to put on there, but we'll get some video up there going here soon. So anyway, all right. We're about a couple weeks away from Star Wars Day. May the 4th.
May the 4th.
May the 4th. All right. He's Kryptonian1138 on Twitter. I am DCunningham21 on Twitter. That will do it for us. For Casey Cooley.
Breathe. Just breathe. Now, reach out. What do you see? Yes. Good stuff. Light, darkness, the balance. It's so much bigger.
So much bigger. All right, guys. We appreciate it as always. And we will be back here next week. All right. Take care, everybody. For all the stuff you missed from Celebration, StarWars.com's YouTube channel has all the panels and stuff like that, trailers. If you missed it all, get on there. Go watch it all. One thing I will mention that I was in attendance for, we were back here on Sunday, and they had the droid panel. Alec Tunick was on it, which is cool. But Warwick was on there, and he did a little thing for Kenny Baker.
Yes, that's right.
And man, that was awesome. I again teared up because that was, we forgot we didn't lose just Leia and Carrie Fisher last year, but we lost Kenny Baker. And that was a really, really cool thing that they had on there. And Anthony Daniels came out. Alex Koenig was on there. It's a good little panel. You guys should watch that one. And Mark Hamill's panel on Sunday as well. I watched a little bit of that. So, anyway, Celebration's awesome. Thanks, guys. He's Casey.
Goodbye, everybody.
I'm Dave, and may the Force be with you.